Welcome to Game Set Matchup, the podcast where we talk everything partnerships, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Hello, everyone. And this week on Game Set Matchup, we spoke to Rebecca Leppard, who is the founder of Upgrading Women. So you're going to get to hear a little bit about herself and her background, how she built the business and the platform, get to hear about all the amazing things that she's doing in helping women to upgrade, shall we say, by mentoring, offering great workshops and lots of different tools to help women in tech sort of develop themselves. So really, really good episode. Get to hear her take on how she's handling sales within her business. And I think you'll find it's a bit of an eye opener. I know I certainly did. We talked about the fundamentals of partnerships, and how they should always start with, active listening. So really sort of find out, what you could do to help that business rather than going sort of straight into the, the money side. And also keep an ear out for her sort of top tip on networking events. I think you'll like it. I definitely did. So sit back and enjoy the episode. Guys, welcome to Game Set Matchup. So this podcast where we discuss all things partnerships. So for today, I'm your host, Carl Busby, and today I'm joined by my co-host, Zara Mogul.
Yep. Hi, everyone.
So please welcome our guest today, Rebecca Leppard, the founder of Upgrading Women.
Hello.
Welcome, Rebecca. So thank you for taking the time to obviously come and speak to us. It's been fantastic. Of course. Yeah, brilliant. Look, we'll just start with sort of the usual questions. So look, it'll be great if you could just give like a little overview, sort of introduction, sort of about yourself, tell listeners a bit more about who you are, a bit more about your background, sort of your current role, and just a bit more about Upgrading Women. What's it all about?
Yeah, of course. So I am an Indonesian. Let's start with that. How about that? How often do you hear that country being mentioned on your podcast? I bet I'm the first. Yeah. So I don't want to be the only. So let's hear it for more Indonesian. Because here's the thing, a lot of people so I'm an Indonesian who just moved to England 2 years ago. Let's give you that context. Mm-hmm. And it's so funny because when you Google the word Asian on image, it will be the East Asian who will come up.
Okay.
I know that you will try it after this.
I will. I just made a little note. I'm going to check
it. However, and that is very American. Mm-hmm. Americans' biases and references. As soon as they hear the word Asian, it would be the Oriental faces and location. Mm-hmm. Whereas here in England, when you say Asian, you go South Asian, right? The Indian, Pakistani, Bangladeshi, all those beautiful women and men, I have to say. But then I'm from Southeast Asia, and nobody can tell where I'm from. Plus, my accent is Hollywood accent. So, so the whole identity, that's why I always start by saying I'm Indonesian who just moved to England 2 years ago. Wow. And by that, I mean, I have absolutely no connection. Hence, the word partnership means a lot more for me than for any other business person or career person in this space. So I started, so because I moved during the pandemic, nothing was going on and so on. And in 2021, when I started networking and I saw, wow, there's a lot of great events, and that is mostly virtual. Do you remember those days? Mm-hmm. There's absolutely no in-person event. And when I see these events going on, and I felt something that a lot of people mistaken as imposter syndrome. But for me, again, coming from where I'm from, it was more of an inferiority complex, thinking that I am less than. So it's not even an imposter. I know I'm less than in my mind. And just like any other complex, it's apparently, and it's proven inaccurate because of me attending these events, thinking that I know nothing. How can people even want to hire me? And so on and so forth. But I don't know if it's fortunate or unfortunate, but what I've seen is that, ding, 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 not all white people are smarter than me. Isn't that? And because of that realization, I thought, I must not be the only one thinking this way. I must not be the only person of color or the only woman thinking that their male counterpart is by default thought by society, by corporate, that they're smarter or they bring more to the table. That's why then I decided to establish my own company called Upgrading Women, which is a training provider for women and underrepresented group of people on how to be a better presenter, better leader, because behind all that, skin color, gender, identity, whatever, we all are blessed with brain and ideas, and we want all ideas to be heard, because as a society, we would be losing out if we only listen to a fraction of ideas just because of their identity. So when people ask me what I do, I say, I teach women in tech so that because tech is our future, our present as well.
Yeah.
And I don't want the life-saving innovation is missed out just because we don't listen to half of the population and so on. So that is a long story to tell you what I am and what I do, but I hope you get the gist of it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's fantastic. It makes a lot of sense. I mean, you touched on talking about the imposter syndrome. My wife, she suffers a little bit from that as well. She says, she gets a new job. She's done it many times, but going into a new business, and she the exact same term, she just feels like this, like, can I actually do this? I've said I can, but can I actually do something? And I'm like, I'm like, you've done this many times before, but it's just, like I said, it's just something that you get. So yeah, I have, I've experienced that before, but no, really, really, really interesting. Sorry, I was going to ask a question.
Yeah. So as we begin to talk about all things partnerships, I wanted to ask, how have you seen Upgrading Women approach change to creating partnerships in the recent times? And for Upgrading Women, what does a Gold Star partnership look like?
Oh my goodness. Can I tell you, just a few weeks ago, I have disbanded the sales department in my company.
Oh, wow.
We no longer have sales department. We only have partnership department. I moved everyone that is on sales to partnership because the world is so toxic these days that the word sales make people either scared or they shiver in almost like allergic. If you know what I'm saying, like, ugh, these guys it's a hard sell, so therefore a hard pass, or these guys just want me because they want to sell something to me. It has become so toxic. And at the same time, I know that the mindset of my team when they are on sales, and then what is the next word association to sales? It's target, right? And people are so afraid of, what if I miss the target? The word target is more frightening than the word deadline, almost. So I'm like, okay, forget target, forget that you have to be chasing the dollars or the pound sterling.
Yeah.
What I want to do is eventually serve the people that I can serve with my product. I don't have a physical product. My product is my service, the teaching, the methods, all the motivation and all the coaching that I'm giving. So it's not like I grab someone and say, hey, you need something from me. I know you do. This is the price, pay me. The way I see it is I've never seen any doctor saying that, hey, you look ill, come here, let me save your life.
Yeah.
But as we know, doctors are always going to be there when we need them. So true. I think that is a good also type of relationship that I want to have, me with a client, me with whomever that I'm collaborating with. I want to call it a partnership because we both serve in this circle of life, while of course the doctor is getting paid, the clinic is getting paid, and so on. But it's obvious that the doctor, the nurses, all the health workers are serving the patient. Yep. And their first priority is to get the patient better. It's not to get the money. It's like, ooh, let's see what you've got, right? Yeah. So that is the sort of relationship I want to have as an educator, as an aggregator. So even when you're selling toothpaste, what you want eventually is people in the population to have good hygiene, right? Yeah. So it's not like, hey, I want your lunch money in return of this tube of toothpaste. Yeah. So that is, I think it started with all the mindset that I want, okay, this is what I have. What have you got? And how do we benefit each other? Yeah. So I want to go back to the caveman era when they didn't have the term sales or even partnership. They only have the term barter. Do you remember those days?
Yeah.
Of course not. We were not cave people, but there is such a thing called barter. And I think that should be more of the notion of what we have. Like, okay, this is what I've got. It may not be actual hard cash, but I know you've got something that can help me grow. Yeah. And let's grow together. That's my whole view about partnership.
Yep. Well, no, it's just really amazing. I mean, I think that's the first we've had where someone said they've just ditched the sales team. But I know exactly what you mean. I mean, I think most people would agree, like it is, it does come across sometimes sort of that bit of a sort of dirty word because it's just immediately you hear sales is like it's people chasing. Sort of leads on to the next question. Like obviously, here at Find that's exactly what we're all about. It's about obviously partnerships, and obviously good thing with ourselves is that everybody on the platform is looking for some things that open to those sort of conversations. So like what other sort of things have you tried to do in terms of, I mean, obviously using Finder, as you said, that keyword partnership. Yep. What other sort of types of things are you sort of doing to try and create those partnerships, like you said, just outside of fun?
Yeah, well, I do a lot of networking. I don't even use my high heels anymore because I now go out and meet people. And the first thing I want to do when I talk to people is to use my active listening. And that is what is quite lacking. I find, especially these days when we are so distracted by so many things, when we talk to people, our phone is on in front of us. And, unless you have a clone, one is to talk to people, one is to handle your email, etc. We can't do that. Yeah. So the first thing that I do is when I talk to people, either in person or on or virtually, I really then use my active listening. What is their problem? Again, going back to the health professionals, how can you expect your nurses, your doctors, your dentists to really be treating you if they're not focused on you, right? If they're checking their Instagram while doing it? Can you imagine? You're like,
is this guy taking me seriously? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that is what we need to do. So when I talk to people, either they're talking about their charity, about saving refugees, either they're talking about that they're building a big tech company, but they have a new VP who's actually never she's been in sales position for so many years, but she's never been in tech company. So there's a cultural shift there, and that is causing problems and retention and all of that thing. So I don't go out there with a menu of, again, doctors don't go out there and say, this is the entire pharmacy and this is the entire book of medicine. They listen first. That's what I do when I go about my partnership. I listen to what is the problem, and I may not have the direct solution, but I may know someone or something who can. Therefore, I would then gladly, again, without thinking about what's in it for me, to then direct them to where they need to be.
Yeah.
Because what we want is to give value. My thinking is, if I manage to upgrade one person just by a notch. For example, when I go around, and I'm going to show you my phone, that's why I picked it up. When I go around and meet people, I immediately, this is my home screen, my lock screen.
Very cool.
And I introduce myself and I say, why don't we connect on LinkedIn? And I just pull it up without even, fiddling with anything. It's a locked screen. I don't have to put my face ID or anything. And then as soon as they see my QR code, the first thing they say is, wow. So immediately they know that I'm not just a pretty face. I know something about technology.
Yeah.
Secondly, I hope as well, they actually never told me this, but I hope they are thinking that I know something about productivity, because I did not lose any second to find where I need the thing that I need to connect with them.
Yeah.
And as soon as they're busy trying to find a scanner or whatever, I said, just pull up your camera. You don't even have to open any app. Pull up your camera, face it. And they're like, oh my God, I didn't know you can do that. So the first 5 minutes of encounter with me, they know something that they didn't know before.
Yeah.
That is my sort of antidote to when I used to think that I was less than. Now I can actually prove it to myself and to a lot of people time and time again that there's at least one thing that this little Indonesian girl know more or faster or better than you. This new person that I just meet. So even though that the general notion is for me to give value, give a new tips, let's say, the side effect of that is to then put another stamp on my credibility. And that is, I think, what is great about nourishing partnership is because when you're thinking just sales, it's like, look at me, and this is what I can do. This is what I'm so great at. Whereas partnership is like, hey, what's new with you? What's cool with you?
Yeah.
And then we almost automatically our brain is then wired to see, hey, we could use some of that, you know. Then a lot of people just from that example, hey, can you teach me how to find my own QR code on LinkedIn? You know, really so good. That is just one thing that, and it's a range of people from various companies, including tech companies. Not a lot of people know that, or even if they know it, they don't have the productivity hack to even put it right in front of their screen. Or to print it on their business card. You know, how, I mean, it's obviously not rocket science. I mean, no. But, you know, these little things, because I think I have 9-10 years of experience working in hospitality, and I genuinely recommend it to every young person out there to experience working in hospitality, because that will kind of wire your brain to get the extra mile, to have a service mindset more than taking, grabbing, you know, or, you know, elbow your left and right. So it's more of a, you know, embracing each other, what we can do for you, sir, ma'am, lord, lady.
No, that's amazing. I think, you know, you're onto something there. Obviously, I've been to a couple of network events. I worked out that QR code thing sort of after the first or second one, but I'm putting it on the home screen. That's just genius. I'm not going to lie. Probably I'm going to steal that the next time I go to an event. So,
of course.
Thank you for that.
I think it's just the older generation. I think my generation would know all of that. Maybe.
Yeah, I tell you. But do you have it on your home screen, girl?
Oh no.
Next event. What we'll be doing.
Yeah, next event. And I'll tell you, I'm almost 40. So I'm that generation. And I thought of that. So yay to old millennials.
That's absolutely brilliant.
Okay, I know we've touched on it slightly, but what do you think the do's and don'ts are of partner creation and development? And what advice would you give yourself starting out?
Oh, well, first of all, especially for underrepresented group, no matter what color you are, no matter what hardship you have as a person, you know, not all disability is visual. Not all neurodiversity is obvious. So we all have our challenges. We all have that little doubt. Even who's the most what do you call it? Perceived as the best or the first. It would be the tall white man with a full head of hair, right? I'm looking at you, Carl. But here's the thing. The rest of us, other than the tall white man with a full head of hair, the rest of us, we all have that chip on our shoulder, whatever, that we didn't even graduate high school, that sort of, or we were in and out of foster care, or we're a veteran. All of that, when you go in either in your business or in your career, put that in your mindset that if you have that chip on your shoulder, it's more likely that that person you're dealing with have that too, in a completely different shape or form. So just be vulnerable. Again, vulnerability plus boundaries. So be vulnerable in what you have and what you don't have. That would be the way, the mindset to approach partnership. Because again, it's not about what you have. It's more likely about what you don't have and what the other person or the other side have than to fill in the gap. And then you also listen actively to what they have. A lot of people before the pandemic enter a room thinking that either arrogantly or completely the other way around, or like, oh, damn, what do I have to bring?
Mm.
So now that people have seen each other's living room, each other's messy kitchen, I'm so glad that it gives another layer of that vulnerability is not at all weakness, but it's being honest and transparent. And again, when you're embracing that, going into your partnership, trying to make a deal, even if it seems like, I think they're getting more out of this deal than we do. The world doesn't consist of just the two of you. You probably get more from another partnership with another, party, another company. And I also believe in karma. I don't know if it falls into the tips and trick. I believe in karma in that you reap what you sow. So be generous in your partnership. Be as generous as possible, because either somebody will pay it forward and help another business that is really then in need, and us as a whole, as a society, as an economic society, we will all benefit from it. Because actually this is and I know that in the world partnership, this phrase is thrown a lot, the win-win bit, the win-win solution. Literally, there's enough food for everyone in this planet. Okay. So go into that meeting room with that in mind. There's enough food for everyone in this planet. If you don't get your lion's share today, you will eventually get it when it's your time. So keep at it.
No, that's some great advice. I'm again, I'm not very sort of superstitious, but I'm another karma person. I believe, what you do, what you sort of think, those things, pay forward. So you got, I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. Just quick ones. Obviously, we kind of obviously touched on it before, especially when you were talking about, the fact of what you sort of done with the sales team and how you sort of moved that over there, which is really sort of intriguing. But so do you have any, like I said, what kind of your, maybe sort of top tips or, around sort of creating high performing teams and winning cultures? Because obviously this is, it's a big part of what you're kind of doing.
Yeah, well, there are two things. First, the technical stuff. The technical stuff means that you have to give the tools to your team so that they can win. In general. So I tell them straight away on recruitment. Even I said, if you see that there's a tool, there's a bot, there's a whatever technology that will make your life easier, make your job easier, tell me and I'll invest in it. Because a lot of toxic leaders think, why do I have to make your job easier? Right? But no, I want to make their job easier, because if their job gets easier, they get better at it. And my bottom line is healthier. Hello. I mean, that's a simple math, but a lot of toxic leaders don't think so. They just want to torture their people. Right. So the technical aspect is that. So for example, if there's a tool like Finder that will make our partnership manager's life easier, get on it. How much do I have to invest in it? Let's invest. That's one thing. The second thing is that as a leader, you really, really have to nurture and nourish your people. I know that I'm a trainer, I'm a facilitator in workshop, but so often, even when you're a chef, you forget to feed your waiters. Okay. So because I train women in tech, it doesn't, sometimes it doesn't make it obvious that I have to teach and develop my team as well.
100%.
So I when I browse content or when I read articles, when I find something that is useful for the finance team, when I find a great course that my graphic designer should sign up to, I send the link. Or if it's easy enough, I sign it up for them. This is I'm almost like a parent. Yeah. So I put on our message board saying, hey, I actually signed this up for you. So if you see there's a confirmation email, that's actually me. It's not a spam. I sign you up on this course. Go have at it. So yeah, basically, even the nurturing bit and the investment in tools and gizmos and what have you, all in all, is again, put people first.
Yeah.
And profit will come later.
Yeah. I think that's a great tagline. But no, totally agreed. Having the tools to do your job, and the nurturing thing is so key, because if you don't develop people there, obviously they can potentially get unhappy, and then obviously that's how you sort of lose style. You want people to obviously be happy in what they're doing. That's another key thing I'd say as well, to keep retention and keep people want to work in the business, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, one last question to round us off. What does the future hold for businesses when it comes to creating partnerships with each other? And what, if anything, will you and Upgrading Women be doing differently?
Oh, that's 2 questions, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
You sneaked into 2. Just
So, what's the question again? The first bit.
What does the future hold for businesses when it comes to creating partnerships with each other?
Oh my goodness! Again, even if you are a head of sales of a consumer goods. Like, again, if you're selling shampoo, toothpaste, whatever you're actually partnering up with your distributors, right?
Yep. You
need them as much as they need you. Otherwise, you are going to miss that target, young man. So the part, again, people will think that I am naive or anything, but yeah, if I, a for-profit business, can dissolve my sales department, I think a lot of people can too. Forget it. Partnership is the future. So if you ask me what's the future for partnership, I go the other way around. Partnership is the future. What are you talking about? And what does the future hold for Upgrading Women? Is that, or what am I going to do differently? Well, I am already doing things differently, as you know. But now we just yesterday, we have just launched our nonprofit. And this is how we do things differently. A lot of philanthropic donors, etc., they wait until they get rich, then they do charitable action. I tell you something, Upgrading Women was founded February 2022. We're not even there. We're nowhere near our first anniversary. But 18th of October 2022, we are starting our application to the UK government to start charitable organization called careersisterhood.org.
Okay.
I just bought the domain. Honestly, this is a sneak peek.
It's exciting.
Career Sisterhood is going to be our where we do this similar things that we do for our client, but for free. Because that is our pledge since the get-go, and we just now finally put it on paper. That since the beginning, I always say to myself and to the people that I meet, for every paying client, there will be another pro bono client, and so there will be now an umbrella where these pro bono client will be served. And we just served our first one and it's a London-based young women forming another nonprofit called Project Period, and they're raising funds to buy menstrual cups for girls in Kenya because they actually just miss school whenever they get their period.
Oh wow! Okay,
which is absolutely like
crazy.
Forget equality. This is absolute, absolute travesty. It's a crime. It's absolute crime. Mm-hmm. So what I do for them is I teach them on how to raise fund, on how to actually develop a strategy, how to write email that is compelling enough, for example, for the Kenyan Airways to give them free ticket for when they deliver the product.
Right.
So I teach women in tech, but when there's another woman in need and they're doing good stuff, I teach them too. The same premium white glove service I'm giving them for free. And that is the way I see it. Like, why do I need to wait to be a billionaire to do this?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I have the knowledge. I have all the power in that my calendar is I can literally block my calendar and say, okay, today I'm going to serve this community and I'm not going to charge them. That's it.
Yeah. No, that is absolutely amazing. I think it's a fantastic way to sort of wrap up there. Obviously, it's because I'll be sure to be checking out this the non-profit. Obviously, our listeners.
Yes, absolutely.
Go and sort of check this out. But look, it's been I've really enjoyed obviously talking to you. Found lots of like I said, lots of fascinating stuff. Some some couple of little tips I've picked up there for my next network event. And like I said, it's been really great sort of talking to you. And just really appreciate giving us the time, come and speaking to us.
Yes, and thank you both. Lovely meeting Zara again, and lovely to meet Carl for the first time. And again, I hope everyone just keep partnering up.
Yeah. Well, I think perfect way to end there. Thanks very much. Thanks very much, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining this week's Game Set Matchup. Tune in to hear more about the need to knows and the do's and don'ts when it comes to creating successful business partnerships.